Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Driven Wild. Today we are talking about Grubhub is launching a virtual brand. The delivery company says MasterChef Table will allow restaurants to easily add a delivery-only concept as their popularity grows. So recently, Grubhub announced that they were actually deciding whether or not to sell out. And I made a video on that. I'll leave that video in the description. So when I see that they're actually launching a virtual brand that lines up with a very popular TV series, MasterChef, I'm actually taken aback because I'm like, wow, that's a quick 180 there. But that being said, this could be what separates Grubhub from Doordash and UberEats, because Doordash has the majority of market share specifically because of their white label program. UberEats just has the better customer interface and platform altogether simply because of their loyalty programs and the value that comes from using Uber. Grubhub will be known for exclusive virtual brands such as MasterChef and TikTok Kitchens. And I made a video about that as well, but I'll leave that in the description, but we'll go over that later in the video as well. So I want to talk about what's going on here, how this may or may not affect gig drivers, and is this actually going to present more opportunities to accept quality orders because of this? So with that said, let's get started. As more restaurants add virtual brands to their kitchens, Grubhub is joining the scrum with a delivery-only concept of its own. That is true with Chili's. It has its Just Wings. Near here, there's a place called Wicked Cheesecakes and Pizza, and they have a bunch of different virtual brands such as Wicked Lobster, Boston Pizza Company, Wicked Wings, or whatever it is. And they just have a lot of quality brands. Tender Shack works with Carrabba's and Outback Steakhouse. I'm sure there are others, but I just can't name them off the top of my head. MasterChef Table was created in partnership with contestants from the long-running cooking show of the same name. It will offer familiar foods with a MasterChef spin, the company said, though it did not go further into detail. While I do think that the name recognition is going to have a significant effect on how many people are actually going to buy, I don't know how much of that is actually going to help with returning customers. Because if I see MasterChef Table and I expect MasterChef quality based on the image that I built up in my mind based on what I've seen on this popular cooking show, I'm going to expect it to be quality foods. In this particular case, it's going to be made by restaurants who are going to, well, let's be honest, they're going to try to make the most amount of money, spending the least amount as possible, and cut corners where they can. It's a little concerning for me to see that MasterChef is going to be ran by everyday restaurants, to be perfectly honest. Restaurants can license MasterChef Table from Grubhub and operate it as an add-on to their existing business. There's no licensing fee, and Grubhub will cover the costs of the initial inventory, it said. It's slated to launch nationwide in June. At the recording of this video, it is April 30th. But you know what? Covering the cost of initial inventory just to try out a virtual brand that is pretty much made by Grubhub. Usually what you'd have to do, and I'm assuming I'm not an expert on this, is that you would have to kind of make the brand yourself, build up the brand yourself, and then you would have to maintain everything in between on the brand yourself, including licensing and operations and everything else, and how to work that into your business. But with this, you have the opportunity to just skip the build-up part, piggyback off of what is a very popular TV series as far as popularity, and just slap it onto what is already a business you're currently operating on. I like that. I kind of like how they're skipping past the nonsense in order to create their own brands, in order to utilize an extra source of income, especially for merchants. So I kind of like that. The Chicago-based company appears to be the first of the big three U.S. delivery providers to offer an in-house brand as a service for restaurants. And Grubhub was gonna sell out. I'll tell you what, I wonder if DoorDash and Uber Eats is going to follow suit? Or is this going to be what differentiates the three from each other? DoorDash has their white label program that allows you to build up your own brand, while DoorDash is kind of just the back end stuff, and most people don't even realize it's DoorDash. Uber Eats maximizes the value of their aggregator program, so that way you have loyalty rewards as a customer and you want to keep coming back, assuming that everyone's happy with Uber Eats in comparison to DoorDash and Grubhub. Grubhub has exclusive brands like TikTok Kitchens and MasterChef, which allows them to have restaurants that you cannot access with the other three. This might be what makes Grubhub flourish in comparison to the other two, and that might end up giving them market share that DoorDash and Uber Eats cannot get. I don't know how much market share of that would actually end up being, but this might be a big comeback play. The news was tucked into the middle of a report Grubhub published this week that revealed just how many independent restaurants have turned to virtual brands to help generate extra revenue amid the pandemic. Virtual brands are going to be a major factor in what keeps restaurants alive at this point. Chili's has It's Just Wings, and it piggybacks with Maggiano's because they're from the same parent company. Outback has Tender Shack, and Tender Shack also works with Carrabba's Italian Grill. Anthony's Coal Fired Pizza has Roasted Wings. But the point is, virtual brands and ghost kitchens have been popping up like crazy because people would just prefer to have the convenience of something delivered. And there's a lot of value that comes with that. There's even exclusive items that you can't get in certain restaurants unless you order with delivery. Now, some of them are just kind of gimmicky and scammy, in my opinion, but it is what it is. Quick example of this is how Chipotle doesn't offer adult quesadillas unless you order it through the app or with DoorDash, Uber Eats, Grubhub, but you can order a kid's quesadilla. Blaze Pizza doesn't allow you to order a large pizza unless you order it through their app or through DoorDash, Uber Eats, and Grubhub. But you can't customize it the way you want to, and it's the same price as a normal pizza, which is ridiculous. Nevertheless, that's how they operate. The report, conducted in partnership with restaurant business sister company Technomic, found that 41% of the 350 independent operators surveyed currently use a virtual brand, and 46% plan to add 3 or more such brands in the next 12 months. So you're not just picking up one virtual brand from Restaurant A. Restaurant A has one already, and they're going to have 3 more. That's impressive to me. That's how the restaurant industry is expanding. It's no longer about the in-person experience. It's going to be about how many virtual brands can we capitalize on here. Heck, let's be honest. How many people actually know that they're getting food from Chili's when it's Just Wings or Maggiano's? We actually did state that the last person who did that did not know. Now, my question is it ever going to get out of hand? Am I going to order pizza from a sushi restaurant? Am I going to order steak from a fast food place? Like, how far is this going to go? Because Maggiano's is a scratch kitchen, and they offer it within Chili's, which sometimes feels like they're heating up frozen foods. 2 totally different brands. Meanwhile, nearly 70% of restaurants that brought in a virtual brand during the pandemic have made it a permanent part of the business. The study also found that an astounding 80% of restaurants are working with a third-party delivery provider to develop virtual brands. With MasterChef Table, Grubhub wants to ease that process for restaurants by doing most of the upfront work for them. That's what's going to separate Grubhub from DoorDash and Uber Eats. You want virtual brands? We got you, fam. We'll actually give you a menu of virtual brands that you can add on. Check them out. Tell me which ones you want. We'll set you up real quick. That's going to change the game for Grubhub. The company will bring its considerable data and marketing expertise to bear in supporting the brand. The menu is data-driven and designed to tap into the delivery trends, according to Grubhub's website, and restaurants that license it will get exclusive media marketing and PR support from Grubhub and MasterChef, including exposure on national national television. Like I said, everything's done for you. No advertising, no finding a way to push for it. We already built it for you. Just press and play. That's it. Now, what's really gonna make the difference is not even MasterChef. It's the fact that what happens when Grubhub actually wants to add more delivery brands. Not just MasterChef. How about Italian? How about Japanese? Chinese, everything you can ever want. We have a virtual brand for you for that. I feel like this is also going to give rise to a lot more ghost kitchens than it would ever with normal restaurants. The prospect of a big delivery company creating its own virtual brands has long been something of a specter for restaurants. Because the companies own data and marketing channels within their apps, there is a concern that they could tip the scales in favor of their own concepts, in essence competing with their own restaurant partners. That is another thing. So when you order on these apps, just like you would for a YouTube video or anything else, you are presented with a thumbnail and a headline, a title. And most people don't, when they're hungry especially, most people don't want to figure out, all right, how's this restaurant? How's this restaurant? How's this restaurant? No, they want a definitive answer, and they want, all right, we're going to pick that one, and we're just going to place the order and have it delivered. Whether it's good food, bad food, that technical, a rainbow in between food, doesn't matter. They're just going to want their food, and that's it. They don't need to upsell the concept of them having food. But if Grubhub is presenting their own brands, what's stopping them from putting their own brands at the top? They'll run their own small businesses out of business, the ones that they're relying on to actually make the food and make it happen. But MasterChef Table will work like any other brand on Grubhub and won't get special treatment, said Senior Corporate Communications Associate Jenna DeMarco. The host restaurant will pay Grubhub the same commission it would on any other transaction. Restaurants can choose to pay a higher marketing commission for better placement in the app. The unit economics are the same, DeMarco said. We don't drive who appears at the top and who doesn't. You know, I feel like a lot of companies say that, but how accurate is that statement really? This is my opinion. It's worth what you pay for it. None of you pay me. There you go. This is going to be a very big first step for Grubhub launching virtual brands that not only people can sign up for with ease. However, they're starting with MasterChef Table, which means that the restaurants that sign up for it have pretty big shoes to fill. When I'm watching a cooking show and I like the product that is being presented, I'm gonna have high expectations, especially if that product did well. Imagine Gordon Ramsay having the food delivered to their house. What is he going to say to the restaurant who cooked it? It's a very high expectation you're placing on small businesses that are worried less about the quality of the product and worried more about profiting from the products they're actually presenting. And that's not to say they're compromising quality. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying you're expecting a lot of skills from people you're not paying to be master chefs. Like, if I hire a cook, right? I'm not expecting him to be a master chef. I'm expecting him to fulfill the obligations of his employment, which is cook the food that is presented at the restaurant in a timely manner. Sometimes that's really quick and sometimes it's really not. Nevertheless, I think with MasterChef Table, there's going to be a very high expectation here. However, there could be the understanding that it is delivery, that because it's delivery, that expectation cannot be there, so it already lowers it. So there is that other argument. Although I will say this, if this does not work for Grubhub, that's what's gonna seal the deal on them getting sold out. Because if they can't even make this work, they're not gonna profit. That's just it. Although I will say, either way, I'm really excited to have more opportunities to deliver, which means more opportunities for us as drivers, which means more money we could potentially make. And I'm always excited about that, nevertheless. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. As always, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace!